Well, I came here to have a look at a famous bridge that used to join the two ghettos here in Warsaw, and it's normally lit up, and I haven't seen it lit up, and I wanted to see that, but they've obviously got the lights off. And this bridge, it was very famous in, if you see the film The Pianist, in The Pianist, Adrian Brody walks across this bridge and talks to his brother, I think, on this bridge, or another guy he was meeting with, which wouldn't have happened because people weren't allowed to stop on this bridge. But basically, this bridge joined the two ghettos, and it only operated, I think, for about 6 months. And the reason I came here today and how this relates to a story of OCD recovery, which is what this channel is all about, is that if I look at this bridge where you have two pillars here joining right across the road, and you can't really see at night, but this should be lit up. And then you think back to the time of the Holocaust time, and you think of the people in a very poor ghetto crossing that bridge, hungry, pretty much starving, lost all their valuables, completely ransacked from their houses by the Nazis, and they're walking across that bridge. And when you think of their life, and they see for that one glimpse life on the top of that bridge around them, and then they go back into the ghetto from one to the other, it's as bleak as it can get, completely persecuted for race. And so when you think of those situations, and you think about that, and you think about OCD and anxiety, think of the anxiety these people would have had here in this situation. They would have been absolutely terrified, they would have been ill, they would have been hungry, they'd have been feeling anxiety all the time, they'd probably developed PTSD. If you look at studies of Holocaust survivors, some huge numbers had PTSD, generalized anxiety disorder, all went untreated for years, because the reason being that back then, obviously, they didn't have access to certainly to medication, but they didn't have access to treatment. There was no really good treatment for PTSD or GAD, as there is today. Not in the mainstream, not usually a very good treatment for a lot of those things, as we know, and. It's a very sad story and a sad case, because people would have experienced so much anxiety, and then it would have continued for the rest of their life, and never got treated properly. So when you look at that kind of situation and you think of that, and you think, so you've got anxiety and starving and poor and losing all your family and all the deaths around you and everything. And look, where I'm standing right now, I think it's about -2 here, so it's very cold. Now I'm wearing a jacket and I'm wearing this hat, but if I wasn't, and I was wearing thin clothes, and I'd got all of that on my mind and everything, you can imagine how hard that is. So this was just a quick video that I wanted to put out, talking about perspective. Just think about those things. You think about that crossing from one side of the road across that bridge that used to be there to there, and that's joining two ghettos, and that's where your friends and family will be, and you don't know who's died, and you can't even see them, and only certain people are crossing there. But don't track my Holocaust history and World War II history in terms of is it spot on, because my life's work's on OCD, it's not on World War II history, but I think I'm pretty right on those facts. So yeah, I think that's a really important thing to think about in life when you're just looking at these things, and I'm trying to document different things from my trip whilst I'm here in Warsaw, doing this trip of Nazi concentration camps and different parts of the Warsaw ghetto. So yeah, hopefully you found that helpful from looking at different perspectives and how these things relate to our own problems and worst case scenarios and all that stuff that you learn about.